If IO Audio's Volare was just a taste of what's to come, I think we can be very excited for future IO Audio releases. Today we have the brand new IO Audio's Sogno. Now that we know that their second IEM is called Sogno, it all just makes more sense. Sogno means dream in Italian. IO Audio's first IEM was called Volare, also in Italian. So here's the thing, there's a popular piece of music titled Sogno di Volare, which basically translates to the dreams of flight and was composed by Christopher Tin. It was featured in a game called Civilization 4 and includes lyrics inspired by Leonardo da Vinci's writing about flight. I found it fascinating that this naming scheme is thematically canon. You don't see this a lot in chi-fi offerings, which tends to be a haphazard mix of weird naming names that makes no sense. So starting off with an unboxing, if the Volare set a precedent, the Sogno should not disappoint in the unboxing experience, and it did not. The Sogno offers another excellent unboxing experience, just like the Volare. You get a box with the name on the front in iridescent foil, very tastefully done. On the back, you'll find typical specifications along with a frequency response curve. Removing the sleeve reveals a box with a stylized print of the frequency curve and the Sogno logo. Opening it is where the magic begins. First, you'll see the user manual and associated literature. IO Audio really takes the effort to get little things right. Their manual includes custom artwork on how to wear the earphones rather than using something that is generic. Also included is a tiny polishing cloth which you can use to polish those beautiful chassis. Next, you get the same excellent IEM case from the Volare. Inside the case are the IEMs, which we will talk about a bit later. One thing to note is that you can actually remove the foam inside the case so that you have more space to actually use the case. You might also notice that there are 5 small cases for ear tips. You get actually 4 silicone ear tips, each with different properties, and 1 set of foamies. Lastly, you get the cables for the IEM, complete with 3 changeable plugs, the favoured 4.4mm, the basic 3.5mm, and the somewhat useless in 2024 2.5mm. It's always nice to talk about the unboxing experience of IO Audio products because they just put so much heart into them. Build quality. The chassis of the Sogno is very reminiscent of the Volare. It features a glitter-filled resin chassis that is simply gorgeous. As a kid, I loved playing with glitter during art class, and now that it's encased in resin, that's pretty good because you get all the sparkle without any mess. The biggest difference between the Sogno and the Volare is the faceplate. The Sogno has a grey wood branch design while the Volare is more bamboo inspired. The glossy, lustrous finish on the chassis is beautifully done. The Sogno also features a 2-pin termination and the cable is a 4-wire oxygen-free copper cable with interchangeable connectors 3.5, 4.4 and loser 2.5mm. The chassis feels solid, but it's too pretty for me to do a sit test on them. Inside, the Sogno features 2 dynamic drivers and 6 balance armatures. One dynamic driver has a 10mm silicone rubber surround with a mixed fiber dome, while the other is a smaller 6mm PET driver arranged coaxially. In terms of comfort, the Sogno feels exactly the same as the Volare, extremely comfortable. Next up, sound. For listening impressions, I paired this Sogno with the Lotu Pogo Touch Titanium and Luxury and Precision W4. The Sogno has a V-shaped signature with elevated upper mids and has an evolved hybrid tone. The dual dynamic drivers for bass provides a dynamic, clean and plentiful low end. This is an improvement over traditional hybrids which are more often less dynamic and just basically quite clean and fundamental tone focus. The mids and treble lean more towards the typical type that is delivered by balance armatures. Bass. The bass on the Sogno is dynamic and expansive. Dual dynamic drivers allow for a larger, more natural bass presentation, providing impact and fullness in the music. The balance between sub-bass and mid-bass is very well executed, with sub-bass being more prominent, but mid-bass is still present enough to fill out the mix. Transients is nimble, though not too fast, maintaining good body to the bass. It is tastefully tuned and has excellent resolution, especially in subtle moments, just like when there is a bass drum that is playing very softly, but the resonance that it creates is actually pretty loud sounding, so that is something quite unique to the Sogno. Mid-range, the Sogno has a natural, slightly warm tonality that renders both male and female vocals evenly. The slight upper mids boost adds excitement and emotions to vocals, and the Sogno captures this beautifully. Instruments are rendered with a clear, natural tone without exaggeration. Mid-range sits naturally in the mix, neither too forward nor too recessed. Treble. Treble is well executed and alluring without being overly fizzy, even with the slight elevation in upper mids. This helps with instrument separation and articulation, balancing well with the rest of the frequency range. The treble is adequately airy but avoids sibilance, contributing to the overall balance. Next up, soundstage. Firstly, with regards to width and height, the Sogno delivers a satisfying width and height comparable to that of a small concert hall, with a well-perceived sense of space. Depth and positioning, the dynamics of bass really helps in depth perception, and positioning is precise, allowing you to clearly identify where instruments are placed. Of course, we need to talk about some comparisons in its same price class, firstly versus the 7Hz Aurora. Now, the Aurora features a different setup. It has a tri-bridge setup including one dynamic driver, 2 balance armatures and 1 microplaner, and it has basically a U-shaped signature. The Aurora has slightly more textured bass, but the Sogno offers a more expansive low-end response. The Sogno's mid-range is also smoother, while the Aurora can sound a little bit metallic in the mid-range. Overall, the Sogno is more comfortable for extended listening. Next up, versus the Simgot EM10. Now, the EM10 is another tri-bridge, this time around featuring 1 dynamic driver, 8 balance armature and 1 piezoelectric tweeter. It has a darker, warmer sound that still maintains really excellent technicality. The Sogno has a brighter, airier signature. All in all, it's really a matter of taste between these two. The EM10 is thicker and fuller, while the Sogno is more aligned with current trends. So, next up, some likes and dislikes about the Sogno. So really, there's a lot of things to like about the Sogno. It is a product that is clearly made with care, from the packaging to the build quality and sonic performance. Even talking about the packaging, they really did not need to include 5 types of earbuds, but they did. The way it's just put together, it feels like it was well thought out and really well executed. However, I have some small gripes with the Sogno as well. One thing is that the interchangeable plugs. The black parts of the plugs is a little bit sharp when screwing them in, and if you really think about it, that's really about it. There's nothing more that I dislike. I think it's on the whole really well done. And now let's talk about some ratings. So firstly, when it comes to bass, I find that it is very full, wide and dynamic. It's really an excellent rendering of bass. It gets a 8 out of 10. Mid-range, it has very nice even tonality, making it very versatile. Treble, good extension, adding edge to the music. It's a 7.5. Resolution, overall it's really good, but not quite bitingly resolving. I'd say a 7.5 out of 10. And soundstage, it has very respectable width and height, a solid 7. So now the most important factor, the enjoyment factor, I will give it a solid A+. The Sogno is not just about sound, but it's really about the experience of owning it. There is so many aspects of it that is really amazing, from the box to just all the touch points. This is one that is very well done. And finally, in conclusion, thank you guys for watching the Super Chong Super Audio Show. Kindly press the like and subscribe button right here down below to support the channel. And if you have already done so, may you have warm food on your table at every mealtime. With that said, thank you guys so much and hope to see you guys soon.